Welcome all, Bern here from EWPRO, getting straight into the weekly outlook. Looking at the DXY and the daily, like I mentioned last week, there's two scenarios here. This is either A, a B and a C here, and we come down for an A, B, C. Or, which is what I'm going with at the moment, this is the A, B, C. So there's a couple of scenarios here now, two on the lower time frames. We do have an impulse up here, so we can get like 3 down in here and then get at least a C up. Let me go down to the H4. Last week, you remember, we're either looking for an A, a B, and this is a C, or we just get an A, a B, C up. So we were looking for that C up last week. So now we either get this A, B, C before we go, or this one just goes. So you're either on this already, or you're not, because you can't really get up here. It's very risky. So as you can see, this is taken off. It still may give another one up on the H1. It may get 1, 2, 3, get a wave 4 and a wave 5 up. But there's no buy setup. We need a correction before we can buy. And yeah, there's really nothing you can do with it now. You're either on it or you're not, really, because like I said, last week's weekly outlook, we were looking for upside. So for at least a C up, and that's happened. AU, looking at this on the daily, a 1, 2, 3, we get a wave 4. I'm waiting for this wave 4, and then we trade that wave 5 up. We did have quite a sharp move down here. We did have a sharp move down here. It didn't come from the top. That's the problem. This is the top over here and not over here. So this is more of a like 1, 2, 3. We may get a wave 4 and a wave 5 up, down. Sorry. So yeah, you really have to wait. You need a correction to sell, and ideally, this low here gets broken. We really need this low here to be broken before I'd look for sells. Because at this stage, we have a possible bull hidden there. So, yeah, H1 very similar to DXY. I'd be looking at some sort of a 1, 2, win a wave 3. You get a wave 4 and trade a wave 5 down. GU, I was looking at this like nice impulse up here, an A, a B, and a C. We got that, and then I was looking for more upside. This has really fallen over in here now. It's, I mean, we were looking for more upside. I was looking for this to go here, like get 1, 2, and this to turn motive. We only got like an A, B, C up. So now, again, with this impulse here, you can really only look for sells. You've got to wait for a correction, and then you could look for a sell. So this one didn't go. So yeah, now you're pretty much just looking for sells. It's very identical to daily AU on the daily because sorry, on the H1, because this over here is the top, not here. So it's 1, 2, 3. You got to wait for a wave 4 and then trade a wave 5 down. As you can see, we go to the daily, but EU on the daily, I'm looking for more upside too. As you can see on the H4 though, I was looking for a wave 5 here. This didn't eventuate, and instead, we were looking for this C up, if you remember. We had that nice impulse up, the correction, and we were looking for at least a C up there. It didn't even get to that 100 fib. So, and now it's like the other majors, isn't it? It's like 1, 2, 3. You got to wait for a wave 4 and trade a wave 5 down. And you on the daily, we had that A, B, C. It didn't even get to that 100 fib. Now we've got that impulse down there, so we're looking for. We get 3 up there. Well, then we can look for a sell for an A, B, C. Well, that's pretty much what happened. We only got an A, B, C here on the H4. Bearish divergence. We got a nice impulse down. So again, if we get a sell set up, a correction and a sell set up, we look for a sell. But this will take time. You got to wait for this. GY, we're looking at that WXY, looking for an X2, and then we trade a wave Z up before we get the larger A, B, C flat, and then possibly more upside. There is a couple of scenarios here too. Like we can get a WXY, X2, and a Z up here before we get an A, B, C, or this just gives us the A, the B, and we get a C down here. We did have that time factor there, and that's pretty much reached now. So for that wave Z up, there was a sell in here to sell this during the week, but yeah, we have a nice impulse down. We got a correction, so I'm looking for at least 3 down here on the H1. It's already gone. This was you would have got in around here somewhere if you're looking for that sell. Now it's already gone, so you really have to wait for some sort of a 1, 2, 3, 4, and trade a wave 5 down. So you got to wait for this wave 3 to be over, and get the wave 4, then trade a wave 5 down. That's all you can really do at this stage. It's already gone, as I've said. UY, you can see the pattern that I'm looking here. Looking for downside, then it may turn more complex before we get this A, a B, a C, and then more upside. We have the 5 up in here. This one was a little bit different to GY. Like I said yesterday, sorry, not yesterday, last week. If you were looking for a buy, you'd be looking to buy UY rather than GY, because this one already gave us those 3 down. So this was a lot better one to if you're looking to buy. So yeah, as you can see, GY fell over, but UY hasn't. So it was a good call there last week. If you were looking to buy, this was the one to buy. Yeah, there's no sell on it, and I would, I mean, this still can be, some sort of an A, B, and a C here, expanding flat, and we still get another one down for some sort of an A, B, C as well. I'd be looking for sells. but there clearly isn't any sells on it, and it's very risky to sell because, like I mentioned last week, we already had three down on this one. So yeah, whereas GY we never did. We only got the one wave down. We didn't get the three waves. So we're looking at this as the B wave, and we get a C down from here, and hopefully that happens because then we can start to look for buys after those three down, but not before. USD CAD. This is on the daily. On the daily we do have a higher high here, but when we look on the H4, like I've been explaining, um, we had this very deep wave four. I said we can really only sell after this low is broken, and because we have that bull hidden there. Um, and we're right on the time factor pretty much last weekly outlook. So only looking for buys. But yeah, so I am looking for 1, 2, 3, wave four, and because this is gone, possibly get a wave five up here. Um, yeah, that low was never broken for a sell. So as you can see there, just wasn't broken for a sell. Hmm. So yeah, you can see the bull hidden may play out. This will either play out or we get a very deep correction here. So there's two scenarios now. We get that wave five up with that bull hidden, or we get a very deep correction to this wave here and doesn't go and break the top, but we get a deep correction and then get more downside. So, it's just very difficult to get in. You can see how choppy it's been. We sort of already have five up too now. If we look at, get a flat in there, we get like 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth wave up with bearish divergence there. So you really got to be careful now too. We're starting to get that bearish divergence. So we either wait for a larger correction, larger than like these over here, and then we can get another five up. We really got to see what's happening here now. To jump in this up the top of the market into a buy is not the right thing to do. There are opportunities to get in this down the bottom here, but yeah, now it's already gone, so there's really not much he can do with it. The Swissy, um, like on the weekly, we got an A, a B, and a C with a running triangle in here. It bounced clean off that 100 fib. Now we had, like I've been going over, we did have a higher high here. It just broke the top there. So this is a higher high. There's two scenarios here now. Like I've been saying, was looking very corrective. It did go and break the top, but now we have three down. Like we have this three down here with bullish divergence. There's two scenarios here now. This can either be a flat, and we get before we get another one down, and then it may go for an A, a B, and a C. Or this just goes from here and we get the A, this is the B, and we get a C from here. I am on this again. I trade use the Swissy quite often. How far this is going to go, is anyone's guess. But I'm looking for at least this 100 fib to be hit. That's my first target, that 100 fib. Again, how to get in now? It's going to be very hard. There's really nothing to get in on. I mean, it's very risky to get in even up here because this can be an A, B, C expanding flat here as well, and then you get more downside, and then you get the A, the B, the C in here before you get A, B, C. You know, so it's very. It's going to be very difficult to get in. You at least need a nice correction before you could look to buy, and that 100 pip be your first target. EG really getting complexed here. We got that leading diagonal. What I'm looking at as the leading diagonal. This is right down the low, so that's fine as a leading diagonal. Then we got this A, the B, and a C. Nice impulse. So nice correction there, but we never went. It's pretty much been staying out of this because it's going sideways here. Um, yeah, I mean this has taken off, and yeah, it would have been very difficult to get in. There were opportunities on the lower time frame, like there was a bull hidden in here. Sorry, I thought there was a bull hidden in there. It must have been something else I was looking at, but it was on the lower time frame, which I don't really go down those time frames in these weekly outlooks. But yeah, there was a nice correction in here, a nice impulse up on the lower time frames to get in. Very risky because this one here gave us a lower low here, um, and then shot up, losing all that divergence. So I was more bullish after you get that. And then losing the divergence, well, it's bullish. So, there was an opportunity in there, but yeah, of course, that's well and truly gone now. There's really not much you can do with this now. You could try and join the trend, this uptrend, but you need some sort of a correction. Yeah. I mean, we're getting bearish divergence on the M15, so we need some sort of a larger correction before you can look for a buy. WTI. Um, this is, it's really on the lower time frame. Like I've been mentioning, we've been looking at this as the A, the B, and a C. It never went and broke the ending point of this wave A, this wave C. That's what I didn't like about it. But had an impulse there. We're looking for buys up in here, and it's going. It's quite slow. It's very slow, and it's quite risky to get in. You don't really want to be buying into something like this. It's very risky to be buying into something like this. Sort of like a rising wedge. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, we had like one, two, three. This wave four's really dragged on, but this looks very corrective. It's very difficult to buy into this. You got to be very careful buying into something that looks very corrective. So yeah, I'm pretty much looking for a sell. Um, yeah, I mean, if we look at, I'm sorry, on the H4, I mean, this can go too, like go and break the top because we already had that A, B, C. We'd have to be looking at it as a controversial correction, but got impulse correction. I mean, this can give us an A, a B, and a C in here, and then an A. Well, then go up and break the top. That's why it's very risky to be buying into here. Yeah. So yeah, be very careful buying into it. It doesn't look motive this in here. That's what I don't like about it. Other than that, yeah. gold. This one's not playing out. If I go down to the lower time frame here, looking for that, A, B, and a C down, and we had that A, B, C here. That bounced off the 100 fib, I believe. I've taken the fib off of it now, but I believe it was around 100 fib there. May even went a little bit above it. But yeah, this is it is going very slowly. But yeah, I mean, oh, I must have been looking for a flat or something there. This is motive now. You can see how motive this wave is down in here. We got like 1, 2, 3. You gotta wait for a wave 4 and then trade a wave 5 down. More than likely, if we get whenever we get this wave 4, we'll get a bear hidden in here. So be a safe bet to trade a wave 5 down, I dare say. Of course, there's nothing on it now, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Silver's very similar. This is sort of a looking. I was looking for this C up here, and we sort of got that. But this was looking very corrective. So I've been saying, be very careful with this one as well. It was still going up in here, and I wasn't liking it, but it was just kept on going up in here. And now it looks like it's falling over, but we really need this low here or this low here to break. We need to break these lows here before you start to sell, especially if you're just trying to sell after an impulse, because we already are starting to get a possible bull hidden here. So we need these lows to be broken first, and then if we get a correction, then we can look for a sell for this like larger a B, and a C, very similar to gold. But this one wasn't nowhere near as motive as gold was. This one looked very corrective, and yeah, as you can see, it's fallen over overnight. So yeah, the only thing you can do now is wait for a correction. Ideally, it goes and breaks these lows over here first and then gives it the correction. But, even still, if it, whenever it starts to give this correction, if it looks corrective, well, then we can start to look for a sell. This could take some time. It may even take all week. It may be all week into a correction. So, yeah, there's really not much to do on it at this stage until we get some sort of a correction. Bitcoin, I've been saying this for a long time as well. This doesn't look motive. It's been keep on going up, but it's like this. It fell over. It's only a matter of time before I believe this one will fall over as well. We really need this low here to be broken, because you can't. Well, it's very risky to buy into something that looks corrective. We are getting bearish divergence overall. There is no sell. I mean, this can be an A, a B, and a C in here. That's fine. Then you get like 1, 2, 3, or an A, B, C. This may turn motive, like a couple of the majors did. It gave us that very shallow and corrective wave 1, and then we got a wave 3 out of them. So this may fall over, but as for a trading setup, the way I teach to trade, it's going to be very difficult to get in this. Yeah. I mean, I'll be waiting for some sort of a correction to get into the downside, but it's already gone and broken this low over here, so it's extremely dangerous. we really need, if you got some sort of an A, a B, and a C in here, you could look for it. I'd be keeping very tight stops, and you're really just following this trend here. Yeah, but we need some sort of a correction before you get in, and it's not ideal because this has already gone and broken the low. It's already given you the A, B, C. This is more of a buy now, but if you're looking for the buy, which you can, I mean, you can look for a buy here if you got the setup. It's really just a scalp though, if you're lucky, I mean, this would pretty much have to gap up. You need these highs here to be broken on the lower time frames, and then you could buy for an A, B, C, and if you're lucky, this is the end of the wave C on the higher time frame, and this takes off and breaks the top. But yeah, yeah, it's not it's a risky trade, an extremely risky trade. It's not a high probability trade at this stage, even on the lower time frames. It's not. So yeah, if you are looking for that buy, be very careful. And if you just get three up in here, like A, B, C, and then a sell set up on the lower time frames, well, then you could look for a sell too. But again, it's already gone. So yeah, very difficult to trade when it's like that. S&P 500 right up the top of the market. I mean, on the weekly, these were our targets. The first and the second target, the 161.8 as the second target, it's kept on going. We're losing the divergence here on the daily. So, at minimum, we need some sort of a correction before we can look for a buy. And this could take weeks to complete. So I've only been looking for sells on this. There may be a sell on it now. See, it's still a bull hidden. Extremely risky still. This low here, sorry, we're getting a bull hidden here. So until this low here gets broken, it gets very risky. I mean, we can go down to the lower time frames, which I don't do on for YouTube, or else these videos that just go on for too long. But in a group we can get into them a lot quicker on the lower time frames, and we're probably in a wave 3 in here. But as for the H1, we really need that low to be broken. An impulse down, then a correction, and then we can look for at least 3 down. So yeah, unless you got on something on the lower time frames, there's a correction in here. Ugly looking correction, but a correction nevertheless. And it's already gone and broken the low. So I mean, you could look for something on Monday, get some sort of correction on the lower time frames to join this trend. Yeah. And that would be your stop. You'd want to keep tight stops now because you've already got an A, B, C, with bullish divergence forming. So yeah. AU 200. Looking for a C up in here too, like an A, B, C. I was looking at this I was looking at some sort of an A, B, C here at the time, and that broke the top, but it was very choppy. Impulse down, then an impulse up. So I am still looking for buys. It's tried to go like with this, and gave a nice impulse up there. Never followed through with it though. But we are getting bullish divergence in here, so it's very risky to sell. I'd be more interested in a buy, but the buys aren't working. Something's wrong here. We got some sort of a flat here on the H1, A, B, C, flat. So we need more than likely there's more downside. I'd be waiting for this wave C in here to be over and then going down to the lower time frames, looking for a buy setup. Trying to get in somewhere, keeping very tight stops. I'd be looking for buys, but there isn't a buy on it. The footsie, we got to be careful here too. This can be, we got a nice impulse down. That's fine. Got an impulse up. This looks corrective, so we can get 3 up in here for an A, B, C. Then you get an A, B, C larger correction before it takes off. So this is a time factor. And if you're looking for the buy, well, you're just looking for a C up in here. If you're lucky, it really takes off. But looking at structures, I'd be looking for some sort of an A, B, C in here. And this can become very deep to this wave A here. So, you got to be very patient, wait for the nice setup, and then look for a C up, scalping really. Well, it's not really scalping on the daily, but yeah, it's yeah. And so this is a nice impulse up here. That's fine. Getting some sort of a correction. Wait until all this is over, and like I said, go down to the lower time frames, wait for a buy setup and give it a go for at least an A, B, C. Lastly, the DAX. This one here, we've got to be very careful of because there is that bear hidden there. If you've been following me for a while, you would have been noticing this. I've been saying we can't really, I mean, we have this 1, 2, 3. You've got to be very careful buying longer term until that top's broken. That top hadn't been broken. So we can still get another one down here for W, X, Y, X2, and a Z down. I think last week there was that, you had to be careful because there was that bull hidden in here. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it last week. You had to be very careful because we had that bull hidden there. So, now it's been broken this low. So that's fine. It is more bearish for sure now. This one didn't go. So you got to be careful here too because A, B, C, you may get some sort of a flat in here before it goes. And there's quite a few different patterns in there. There's really no setup to sell because we already have like 3 down. We need some sort of a corrective wave in there, and then you could look for a sell for like an A, B, C, and then you get an A, B, C running or expanding flat in here before you get more downside. So we got to wait for some sort of we need to see some sort of a corrective price action before we can even start to trade this at this stage. So I hope you got something out of this weekly outlook. If you did, please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you out there next week.